Today, we're going to dive into the very important topic of why invest in single-family homes. So what is the draw to invest in single-family homes? Well, throughout this video, I'm going to explain to you the benefits of investing in single-family homes and how they can be a tool for you to build wealth and how they can be a tool for you to receive money every single month, but also a substantial way to build wealth. So why do single-family homes consistently outpace and outperform other segments of real estate investing? And why are they some of the most stable returns out there when it comes to investing in real estate? And what is it that makes them less complicated to manage? I'm going to answer all of those questions by first explaining why single-family homes are such a solid investment. Secondly, I will cover some of the economic data and market conditions today regarding single-family homes. And finally, go over some of the strategies that work really well with single-family homes, including some of the ones I'm doing right now in this market. If you are ready, let's go. So if you're looking in the world of real estate, you can say, okay, real estate, single family homes, what segment do they fall under? Well, there's 4 different segments of real estate investing in my mind. You have commercial, that's where commerce happens. Those are commercial buildings, office buildings. You have industrial, those are shipyards, that's manufacturing, maybe places where Amazon holds all their goods. Then there's land or agricultural. These are usually farm ground or land that's being used for development. And finally, there's residential. And under the roof of residential falls single family homes. So I think we all know what a single family home is, but it's a residence that people will live in, them and a lot of times their pets or family, but it's where they call home. And honestly, it fits one of the basic human needs, which is shelter. So everybody wants to live with a roof over their head. And the American dream is to own a single family home. And honestly, it is probably going to be one of the most important, if not the most important investment that any one person makes in their entire lifetime. Most people you know that are starting to get towards their golden years, if they bought a home many years ago and they still own that home is paid off. And they could turn around and sell that home for hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe $1 million, depending on where they live. And that right there is a significant amount of money for these individuals on something they bought many years ago. And they've enjoyed the benefits of it. They've lived there. They've maybe got some depreciation on taxes. They've even had some tax advantages by owning that home. There are so many benefits to home ownership with single family homes that it truly is the American dream to own one. Benefiting and participating in that market of single family homes, you are in good company, and there are a lot of advantages for investing in that segment of real estate. So this might be one of the more boring parts of real estate, but I think it's really important to understand, and that is some of the market data that is out there when it comes to single family homes. If you are going to be a real estate investor, you have to understand markets, you have to understand some of the economics behind it, and understand what that data is telling you. So let's dive into that really quick for the current market condition that we're in right now. So let's talk about what we know right now. Now, given there's obviously data on a national level, there's data on a regional level, and there might even be some data on a municipality level, right? For different cities that might stand out from other cities or other regions, right? But I think one thing we know and understand is real estate prices, for the most part, are high. We know that interest rates are also high. However, there is an expectation that the Fed is going to lower interest rates in September. Now, is that going to happen for sure? We honestly do not know. And with an election year, so many things can happen. It could get pretty crazy. But interest rates are higher than they've been for probably about 15, maybe 20 years, right? At 7.5%, 8%. Maybe they've come down just a little bit since then, but anywhere between 7 to 8% is where you see most interest rates right now, unless you buy that rate down. Honestly, the Fed has kind of a difficult job, right? They're trying to manage inflation. If they bring interest rates down too far too quickly, that's going to spark prices to go up because there's going to be a demand to all of a sudden buy quickly. So because the demand to buy has gone up, inventory is going to shrink, prices go up, inflation continues to go up. But at the same time, if they don't do it quick enough or they do it too late, inflation could hurt job markets. So anyway, I don't envy the job of the economists out there, but there is an understanding that interest rates most likely are going to go down. How much, we don't know. My guess is it's not going to be a whole lot, but it will be a little bit of a bump that might attract more people coming into the market. So let me give you some data right now. So single family homes sold in June of 2024 compared to June of 2023 is down 11.3%. So single family homes are down by over 10% year over year. And obviously we know why, right? Prices are high, interest rates are high. People aren't wanting to go out and buy. There's a lot of people that are sitting on the sideline waiting for interest rates to potentially go down or home prices to go down. Also, we've seen that permits for new single family homes are down 2.3% 2% year over year. So from June 2023 to June 2024, new permits for single family homes is down 2.3%. And that's the lowest it's been for 15 months. So that confirms what we know, right? Interest rates are high, prices are high, so sales of single family homes are also down. But that doesn't mean that we should sit on the sidelines, right? And if you're a real estate investor, this could be the news that you're hoping for. So I've been looking at a couple different cities and I've been reading some data, but it looks like inventory is increasing in certain parts of the United States. Florida, Tampa, Orlando, some of the areas in Florida, they're seeing inventory increase. When inventory increases in a market, what does that usually mean? Prices will start to come down. Because the only differentiator, if there's a ton of homes on the market that are pretty standard and they all look alike, is the price. We're also seeing that in Austin. We've actually seen in Austin, Texas, where inventory's increased and prices have started to come down a little bit. And they're seeing that in other areas like Salt Lake, Las Vegas, Phoenix. So that is one thing to have on your radar as you are looking to potentially invest in single family homes. Now, with all that said, real estate right now, should you sit on the sideline? I don't believe so. I've just shifted my strategy. For a long time, I was short-term rentals, and I'm still looking for short-term rentals, but with interest rates as high as they are, they make it less appealing to buy and engage in short-term rentals when it makes the mortgage payment so high. So right now, I'm doing a strategy with single family homes right now called slow flips. Let me explain this really quick for you. So this is where I'm looking for homes between $30,000 to $80,000, mainly in the Midwest, but I've started to look outside of that, and I promise you, you can find those homes. So whatever they have it listed for, I'm putting an offer out there well below what they're asking. Now, I might only get 1 out of 15, 1 out of 20 that are accepted, but that's what I'm looking for. So if there's a home that's listed for $80,000 and I get it for $55,000, that's what I want. And I want the home to be able to be move-in ready. Is it perfect? No. But could a family go in there and rent it and live there? Absolutely. And if I do any work, it's minor, so I'm not outlaying a bunch of costs. And to buy that home, I'm buying it outright with cash. And I'm doing that because I have a private money lender who is lending me money to buy that home. They take first lien position on the home, right? So they're secured, and I'm getting it below market value, and they're charging me anywhere between, say, 9 to 12% interest rate. Currently, the one I have right now is a good friend of mine who I've known for a long time, so he's giving me a good deal. But him and as an investor, to go out and find 9 or 10, 11, 12% in any investment out there that's secured as well as this is pretty difficult. And my goal is to pay him back in 5 to 8 years. So I'm amortizing that loan over, say, 5 or 6 years. That's my goal, 5 to 6 years. It might be a little bit more than that, just depending on how the numbers play out. Now, I'm taking that home that I just bought outright for cash at a very low price, and I'm turning around and I'm selling it to somebody, but I am becoming the bank. I'm seller financing it for them over a 30-year period of time. So what does this mean? Well, they maybe couldn't get a home. They might not have a ton of money to put down on a home, so I'm getting it to them, where a lot of times their mortgage payment to me is less than the rent that they're paying on a very similar home. So it's a good thing for them. And I might let them come in with little to no money down as a down payment, because what I'm looking is their payment, and I am charging them a higher interest rate than normal that they could currently get in today's market, but I'm looking for their payment to me to be able to completely cover the payment to my private money lender, and also have a little bit in there just in case. Now, I'm doing this slow flip through not a traditional purchase and sales agreement, but through a land contract. And this is where I can act as a tenant to evict them from the home if they don't make payments, rather than foreclose on the property like a traditional purchase and sales agreement, but they are the homeowner. So they're in charge of repairs, insurance, taxes, maintenance, everything. It is their home. And people might say, well, how does that happen? Well, same thing with me. If you ask me if I own my home, I'd say yes. But if I stop making payments for 3, 4, 5 months, we're really going to find out who owns my home, right? What's going to happen? The bank's going to come in and take it from me. Same thing here. But a land contract allows you to act as a landlord without the landlord responsibilities to be able to evict them from the home. So that is a strategy I'm doing right now. And I know a gentleman out there who's done this probably for the last 6, 7 years, and he has 170 homes that he's done on the slow flip, and he's coming up on that 60th or 72nd month. And when that comes, all those payments are paid off to the private money lender, and that $900 or $1,000 a month payment that he's receiving from the homeowner that bought it from him is just pure cash on that. And so he's setting himself up to have a ton of cash flow coming in every single month. He's setting himself up and his future generation up. Now that's slow flipping. So that's an awesome strategy that I'm currently doing in today's market that works really, really well. But I'd love to know what you're doing in today's market when it comes to single family homes. If anything, please comment below. Let's engage in a dialogue. As always, just for stopping by, I have a free gift for you. It is my short-term rental calculator. Go ahead and put in the purchase price, all the income, all the expenses, and it'll spit out to you whether it's a good deal or not. It does all that analysis for you, and it's 100% free, no obligation, no questions asked. Just click on the link below, aaronsfreetraining.com. Once again, thanks for stopping by. Have an amazing day.